morning and welcome back to Good Day, everyone. We are live this morning at Liberty Tax Service because we are in the heat of tax season. Of course, the official deadline to file isn't until April, but folks can still file and start getting that money back. Tina's here with us. She is the general manager here at Liberty Tax Service. And here in your hand, you've got the 1040 tax form, which is pretty much the standard tax form, correct?
Correct.
Okay, now everyone has to fill one of these out who gets their taxes done?
Yes. Right. Every personal individual tax return.
Okay, and of course, it's looking like it's a foreign language to me right now. So, of course, we want people to come on down here to Liberty Tax Service. It is Military Appreciation Week. You've got a whole bunch of different appreciation weeks coming up, and we'll be talking about those here in a little bit. But let's get into this form because I'm just going to hold it up to folks at home real quick. It's, the standard name, address, all that jazz. But then we get into a whole bunch of different sections. Yes. And that's what I want you to explain to everyone for us.
Well, basically, the first part of your tax return would be your income. Okay. Wages, business income if you're self-employed, any interest, IRAs, pension if you took money out, okay. Things like that. If you had farm income, unemployment. So a lot of people don't know that unemployment is taxable. It is.
That's good to know.
Very taxable.
And so that's kind of standard, the money that you're getting pre-taxes, or because I know on my paycheck taxes come out every right. couple weeks.
It's all income that you receive.
All righty, good to know.
Okay, so that would go on the first part of your tax return, and then we would get into our adjusted gross income, and many people get that mixed up with their taxable income, but it's different. Adjusted gross income comes from some credits that you can receive, such as educator expense. Teachers can get up to a $250 credit. Right. That would come away from their total income.
Would that be considered a deduction or just this adjusted gross income?
It's just a credit that you can receive to adjust your income, because obviously we want to lower your income so we can lower your tax liability.
Certainly.
So there's other credits that you can receive, health savings account deduction, moving expenses if you moved for a job, and you can get credit, alimony. People that pay alimony, they can get a credit on their tax return.
And of course, this is all depending on the individual.
Right. Student loan interest deduction is also a credit. Anyway, all of those things would go in the adjusted gross income part of the tax return and lower your adjusted gross income.
Very important. We've got lots more of this form to start explaining, but don't worry, we're going to be doing that here on Good Day, trying to lower that income level. Yes. Is that what it is?
Yes. Tax liability.
Tax liability. We're learning all the correct terminology here on Good Day this morning. We are live at Liberty Tax Service. But again, if you're confused as I am, hopefully we'll be explaining a little bit of it here this morning on Good Day. But come on down, get your taxes filed right here, because the magic number to get that money back, I was quite surprised on. And we're going to be telling you that here in just a few minutes. First, back to you guys in the studio. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Liberty Tax Service. We are still going through that 1040 form because it is a bit confusing, so don't worry. You can come on down here, get your taxes done. They've got Military Appreciation Week going on right now, and military members can come on down and get their taxes filed free, no matter how complicated or easy that tax return is. But we got to get back through this 1040 form because we've already done the adjusted gross income, which is different than deductions.
Right.
Okay, so now are we up on deductions?
We are on taxes and credits. Okay, so we've got our adjusted gross income, and next we're going to have our itemized or standard deduction. Now, the government gives us a standard deduction based on whether we're single, married, filing joint, head of household. We'll take that, and then we get exemptions. Exemptions are ourselves and anyone that we're claiming on our tax return. So if you're married and got 2 children, you would get 4 exemptions. And all that will come away from your adjusted gross income.
Now, people who have deductions that they may not realize, or maybe things that people think are deductions but aren't.
Okay, well, yes, a lot of times people forget about their charitable donations, and a lot of people volunteer, and they may forget that they can take volunteer mileage. They can also take medical expenses, and they can take mileage to and from the doctor. But many times people tend to think that they can take deductions for medical bills.
Okay.
But not if you've not paid them. You have to, it's what you've paid throughout the year on your medical, not just because the doctor office billed you for it. So,
and again, it does vary from person to person.
Exactly. And so those are some common mistakes that people get confused about. But if they have mortgage interest and medical bills and unreimbursed employee expenses, all of that can add together, and if it's more than the standard deduction, then they can itemize those deductions.
And again, you mentioned that standard deduction because that is kind of built in from the government.
Right, it is. For single people, it's $5,950. Head of household is more, and then married, filing joint is $11,900.
So if you have some of those deductions, and say, me being a single female filing taxes, say all of that only adds up to about $3,000. I'm not going to get that $3,000 back because it's already built in.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right.
Good to know. So are we moving on to the next part of the form?
Well, yes, we're going to talk about some non-refundable credits.
Okay.
A lot of times people get mixed up, and they may pay daycare, and they think that they just get a credit for that. But once we reached our tax liability, and we have a tax due, then if we have non-refundable credits, that can come away from the tax and lower our tax. Yes, because it can make our refund bigger, and that's the whole point. We want to try to get at least get a refund, and then once we get a refund, we want to make it
keep it growing.
Exactly.
Keep it growing.
Make it bigger, and so that would come away from that, and then we would have other taxes would be the next thing. And if people are self-employed, that's where self-employment tax comes in. People get confused about that. Many people that receive 1099s. From, say, maybe I see this a lot with CNAs that private sit. They get 1099s and they get confused about they made this money and they don't understand why their refund isn't big, but it's because our law requires us to pay self-employment tax when we receive 1099. And so that has to be paid, and that's comes into the next part. Or if they take money out of their IRA, they get an additional tax on that. That would add there, and then we would have our refund.
There you go, and hopefully it is just big. If you're super confused with 1099, 1040, ABCD, CD1, all these different things to fill out, come on down here to Liberty Tax Service. They're going to take it care for you. Again, about 10 minutes if you got a pretty standard tax form, and 10 minutes. That is just wild. Of course, it is a bit more complicated. You can always drop off your stuff.
Exactly.
All right, we're going to be talking more about some of the things that you need to bring to get your taxes done, and of course about those customer appreciation weeks that we've got going on here at Liberty Tax Service. It's all coming up live here on Good Day. First, Kelly, back on over to you. Well, good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday to you. We are live this morning at Liberty Tax Service because we are in the heat of tax season. Of course, you can come on down, get your taxes filed right here at Liberty Tax Service. But when you think about taxes, you don't really think about having fun, and that is exactly what we are doing here this morning at Liberty Tax Service. You've seen the guys out there on the street jamming out, bouncing around. Now, I hear they've got some music in the ear, and they're dancing out there for 4 hours.
That's right. That's right.
Gosh. Now, talking about some fun, kids probably not going to have too much fun when it comes to parents doing their taxes, but look at this kids corner we've got. I want to come play here this afternoon.
Yes, we love kids here at Liberty Tax. A lot of tax offices might not be kid-friendly, but here at Liberty Tax, we love children. We have a kitty corner designed just for them. We're going to give them juices to drink because mom and dad might not like all the sodas. So, cookies and juice.
Love it. Love it. Now, of course, when it comes to taxes, we want to get as much money back as we possibly can, and you guys are going to help us out here at Liberty Tax. But we also want it to be kind of hassle-free, which is why we're going to come to you and get our taxes all filled out. But what do people need to bring when they come to get their taxes done?
Well, the most important thing is they need their ID, their Social Security card, their income, of course, any deductions that they plan on claiming, and we always like to take a look at that tax return from last year, and if they're itemizing, we need information off of it. So
sounds good. And in case you didn't catch that, Becky, I know you've got a little cheat sheet for everybody.
We do. We have lists. I don't know about you, Melanie, but I love lists.
All the time.
Shopping list. We have what you need to bring to the tax office, client checklists. So even if you don't use this for your taxes, which you should,
course.
But if you don't, we will still give these out complimentary to help you come up with your tax papers.
Love it. Now, we are live here on the Slappy location, but you've got another location down on the east side of Albany.
Yes, we do, on Oak Ridge and Radium Springs, and it's all happening over there.
It's
So.
the same type of thing. You're having just as much fun.
Exactly. Fun,
I
fun,
love
fun.
it. Now, this is a new location for you guys.
Yes, this is our first year here, but Eric would love for them to come on in and pick up a free brochure to help them with their tax return and bring their children in and get their taxes done.
Good old
Have a good time.
And get some money back, because that's what we all want. Again, it is Customer Appreciation kind of month. You've got a whole bunch of different weeks going on.
We do. We love our community helpers here at Liberty Tax. And by community helpers, we're talking military, the vets, even if they're retired. The military is this week.
Okay.
All this week. Next week, we're loving teachers. Teachers feel the love next week. Come in, get your free tax return. And I'm talking free is free is free. No matter how
No catch.
complicated. No catch. No matter how complicated, your tax return next week, teachers, free, free, free. Okay? The week after that, we're going to have police firefighters. So all you guys in uniform.
Keeping us all safe, all those wonderful community
Yes,
helpers.
all of them. They all have a week that we're going to give them a free tax return.
Love it.
And there is absolutely no catch. It's free.
Now, say a military member can't make it this week, or the teachers can't make it next week, and so on. What about if they just can't make it in that week?
Well, here, like I said, at Liberty Tax, we love our community helpers. They will never pay full price at our Liberty Tax office. They will always get their tax return at 50% off. Always.
Great. And again, thank you so much to all those community helpers. For everyone else, or maybe even the community helpers included, how long are you expected to stay here at Liberty Tax to kind of get your taxes done?
Well, if it's a simple return, you could be in and out in about 10 minutes. Anything else, it could take a little longer. Sure. But if they want to drop their stuff, we do that as well. They can drop them, and then I can call them back if I have questions or, when I get it ready. And we do take appointments if people want to make appointments.
Well, there you go. And don't forget that checklist. Now, of course, we are dressed up like Lady Liberty, as many of the dancers outside are, that they are just so known for. Of course, we've got the Liberty, we've got the tax. So we are all one included. But, Becky, I think we need to do a little dance. Can you give me some lessons that some of these guys are dancing out there?
Oh, baby.
I know we don't have the music this morning.
I taught them the sprinkler. Whoop,
Oh,
whoop,
okay.
whoop, whoop, whoop.
Are you ready to do this? She says you guys are absolutely crazy. Is it one of these?
That's it.
Do the whoop,
You got to do the whoop, whoop, whoop. You have to have sound effects with it.
Okay, you do the sound effects. I'm just going to do the
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
All right, guys, so much fun. What are your hours so people can come down and have a little fun, too?
9 a.m. to 9 p.m. or when the last customer leaves.
All right, well, we are having fun. As you can tell, it's, 6:45 in the morning, and we are just sprinklering. Don't worry, guys, I won't be out on the side of the street. They have professional dancers for that, but we are having a blast. Heat of tax season, so come on down, get that return, and get your money back. How soon can people expect to get their money back?
Well, unfortunately, the IRS says up to 21 days, but I've been receiving checks since as little as 5, so.
There you go. 21 days doesn't sound too bad after you've kind of shoved it all out the door of your paychecks every month. Again, live at Liberty Tax. Back to you guys in the studio.